let's get on with it. So they're releasing 2 new gods with this patch. They're going to be releasing Horus, who is a very defensive-oriented warrior, and Set, who is his counterpart. Horus's passive is Resolute. Basically, he gets some protections, he gets some crowd control reduction, and after the stacks fade, he gets a little bit of healing. Caps at 170 right now, at level 20 with a lot of stacks. Not a lot of healing, it's just a little bit that helps him. It also has that if he is hit by Set, he gains 2 stacks. There's a bunch of problems with this. I don't like the idea of specific gods having like lore that affects things. You'll see there's a matching thing for Set, but it's not quite equal, and I'll go into that later. I don't like that. I like the rest of that. Horus' 1 is Updraft. At this time, PTS has been up and live long enough that I've seen a little bit of how this works. And his wave clear is below average for his position, but it's not too bad. And I'm going to lower the volume on this a little bit. High quality production shit going on here, folks. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So anyway, the big problem is that at level 1, it's got an 18-second cooldown for not a ton of damage. It's good if you're at point blank, but it doesn't really hit the archers all that hard. It's not really great for poke. So it's kind of a awkward ability in that regard, and where these long cooldowns are a running thing with Horus, which we'll see if that's enough to balance him out where he lands, but that's something to keep in mind. But it does have good damage overall. And by the way, that is 100% basic attack damage, not 100% scaling. It's actually increased basic. And I don't believe it actually triggers basics. I think it should trigger abilities, but just so you know, it scales off of basic attack damage. His second ability, Fracture, actually does more single target damage generally. Also, it gives him a dash. Kind of self-explanatory. He dashes and he hits again, and the second hit reduces protections by quite a bit, actually, on a squishy target. So this is going to be when he wants to dive and he wants to go after some squishies. That could actually do quite a bit. And it's for 3 seconds. But you'll, again, 16-second cooldown. Protector Surge, this doesn't actually attack, but it does heal. Gets him to an ally, heals. He can heal the entire team in theory if they're grouped up. So this actually does mean that he has healing potential in sieges. This does actually give him a lot of healing potential in the sieges. Not quite as good as Guan Yu, but it's honestly not that far off. Plus he has a protections buff. We'll see how that works. That could actually be really good now that I think about it. His ultimate's what everyone's talking about, to the skies. So he channels on the ground while he's casting this. And he selects a location. He has good range. He's I think it's like Ratatosker range. It's between like Thor and Ratatosker, so more than 200 units. Not quite Ratatosker's full range. But he is visible and attackable while he is casting. Just as a note, he's a sitting duck. He picks for 2 seconds. There's an area. All of his allies who want to go with him enter the circle around where he is, and he warps everyone there, does a ton of damage, and he provides everyone with a colossal shield. It's a really cool concept. Hopefully it doesn't get too super glitchy and buggy. The problem is, I think it's too much shielding. I think that needs to be cooled down from like... I would say like start at 100 and maybe go up to 400, 80 per level. Right now it's a lot of friggin' shielding, and that can actually swing a team fight. Objectives are never safe around Horus, things like that. You have to scan really, really far away. I think he's really cool. I think he might be a little bit overtuned, but these cooldowns, all this stuff's really impactful, but his cooldowns are very, very long to compensate. The next god is Set. This is warping back a little bit to Horus. Every time Set damages an enemy, he gets 2.5% attack speed, 5% when he's attacking Horus. When Kingslayer is active, Relentless has no maximum stack count. So he can essentially hit the cap, go over cap, although it won't count. It counts for Silver Branch Bow, don't forget. And he can just rack up stacks in a hurry, beating the hell out of Horus while he's got his ult active. I don't like the idea of Relentless increasing when he hits Horus. A little bit scared about the potential with Silver Branch Bow on this guy. Well, we'll see. Skewer does a lot of damage, and you can actually hit twice. You can hit more than... very easily hit twice. Each hit's going to do 180 plus 80% physical power scaling, and your basic's also going to have... The basic attack is a linear projectile, has 80% physical power scaling and 230 damage. Also a really short cooldown, so he can put out damage in a hurry with this. Especially if he has a lot of physical power, which he wants. Spawn of Set, he summons a pet that's kind of stationary, kind of not. So we can summon 2 pets by default, and they're actually activated and controlled via his skewer. So they go to wherever he signals it in the skewer. I kind of like these ideas, and it kind of ties in nicely to his kit, last of his kit, Sandstorm. If you're near him while he activates it, it gives him a little... It causes a little bit of like a red vision effect, which is really neat. Little concerned about how that looks for people who are red-green colorblind. I think that's going to look really, really ugly. But he could also use it as his escape, and this is his only mobility tool. Nothing else in his kit really helps him move around. The slow gives him a little bit of peel, self-peel, but this is really his only way out. This is a little bit longer than Daji, but he has a little bit less control of it because he has to maneuver his spawns in order to do it. So I think this is he's an all-in character. It's going to be really, really, really disgusting to see what he does at high level. But I think most players are going to ignore him after a while because they just won't be able to get him to work. I'll say straight up, I don't think I can get this guy to work. I don't think I'm good enough at these squishy burst characters to do it. His ultimate is Kingslayer. He gets very angry. This is a stim. That's all it does. It increases his he gets a burst of damage anytime he hits someone 4 times. It heals him for even more. It lasts for 12 seconds, and every time he hits someone 4 times, another spawn of Set occurs, and he can actually get 8 of these guys, which can hit for I don't even want to know. It does 40% of this. On every subsequent hit, so it's like 3.8 times, whatever 3.8 times all of that is. So it's kind of disgusting. Skins don't care. Update release schedules don't care. Don't really care about all of this. They made the AI better. Who gives a shit? Okay, so Sky Cutting Axe was always a leap, by the way, in case people were wondering. You actually could get a Odin cage with it and through your mirror wall, but apparently no one noticed it, and it wasn't supposed to do that, which is weird. They didn't so Chiana was out of the game for the last patch, and they've been trying to make him less buggy. I never really noticed too much personally, but I think I'm the only one. Nothing really should make him better or worse, but hopefully this makes him more playable. Gaibel, they've changed the price from this to be a core item to be a luxury item. Increase of 2,600. This puts it at the higher tier of items, very close to items like Bloodforge and Chin Size. This is good. Iqbal is very potent. And I think that's a lot. That has a lot to do with it. I think that is a good change for them to make. I like the new Iqbal, but it's very powerful. And 2450 was a very low cost for such a powerful item. Runeforged Hammer is getting a bit of a nerf. It was being built on friggin' everybody, along with Blackmore Hammer. This was Hammer meta, no matter who you were. DPS class is becoming too tanky. Blah 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 blah. Keep its appeal to solo lane. Really, it's still going to be a hunter and jungler item, although it's more expensive, a little bit lower power. Not too much. We'll see. I think with this change to Iqbal, this is still going to be picked up by some of the gods like Kurnanos who were using it before. Blackmore Hammer. I don't like this change. This should have gotten like another 50 gold on top and reduce its physical power. They're nerfing its health, so it's less appealing to solo laners who use it to really get tanky. I think they should have made this less useful to assassins by not providing as much power. I think that's the route they should have gone, but Blackthorn Hammer was being built by every physical support, every assassin, and every solo laner. It was kind of ridiculous. Ace and Katana, yeah, they're right on saying Bakasura and Kali and Arachne are doing very, very well. SPL, they're very popular, and if you look at higher tier ranked, like Diamond Play, Those three guys do quite well overall. Arachne is weirdly one of the best. So I definitely agree with focusing on the katana rather than trying to tune their kits individually. Bastet gets a quality of life change. It doesn't do any additional damage. She still needs buffs. I don't think she's very good. As someone who's really unhappy with that, I like Bastet. Ganesh gets a lot of buffs. Turn of Fate, the power boost gets increased to 4 seconds. Ohm now provides a lot of magical protections as well as physical. So they're basically adding 60 magic procs to it at level 5. That's a lot. That's a lot of protections he's getting. Along with remove obstacles, his dash, getting a 15 damage buff at all ranks. This is a lot of little things for him. I feel like I don't know if I really agree with him not having a spot in the meta. I think he was already good, not great, but I think this is way more than he needed. I would have started with Ohm and then go from there. I think this is way too much. I think this is going to make Ganesh almost a... reluctant to say must pick, but if you're going to play more for the mid-late game, Ganesh is going to be near the top of the meta. Hou-Yi gets a good mobility buff. Sunbreaker, he's no longer rooted. I feel like Hou-Yi is in this spot where only the Masters will play him. And the Masters will always keep him in their pool because they can leverage Ricochet so well, but everyone else can't fucking leverage Ricochet. God knows I can't. Izanami is getting a lot of buffs as well, and I don't know why. Death draws nigh, so she's getting more physical penetration shredding earlier. She gets the same that she used to, but she gets it earlier. Much earlier. I don't know why. Okay. Spectral projections now get a 3-second slow, which is a long time at all ranks. Kind of a slow-moving projectile, but remember it's got range 70, so it can hit from a long distance. Her escape, lowering the travel time, and the self-root being removed at the end. Those are really good changes. Really, she just needed this. She didn't need the other two guys. Izanami was already usable. Not great, but usable. I think this is going to make the Isa and Ganesh are going to be very popular now. The Hou-Yi thing doesn't really matter to regular players. Jormungandr, for some reason, keeps getting buffed. He's not a support, people. He is not a support. I don't care if no one's watching. He's not a support. And these don't make him a better support, either. Consuming Bellow is going to have the damage mitigation reduced. He gets 1 second of 10% damage mitigation. Big fucking deal. And it no longer goes on cooldown if interrupted like every other ability. It used to be that you could stun him out and he would have it go on cooldown because of those mitigations. No one gave a shit. No Jormungandr player used the Bellows for mitigation. Venomous Haze, if you either consume it through the Bellow or pop through with the Submerge, it used to only last for 5 more seconds. Now it's going to be 8. And Jormungandr gets like... let me do the math so I can be scientific on this. He's going to get 18.75% increase in his in-hand damage at rank 1, at level 1. He's getting nearly 20% more damage at level 1 on his autos, which hit in a cone, pass through everything, and have range 35. 20% more damage at level 1. If this won't make a meta, literally nothing will other than you all being too stupid to fucking play him in the solo lane. God help us all. You need Warrior's Blessing if you're in lane with him. No other start will let you live. End story. But he's really good. He was already good at launch, and you all just couldn't figure that out. And I'm going to laugh all the way to the bank with it. King Arthur. Excalibur's Wrath is technically getting more damage. But almost all of it is going to be physical. I don't know what they mean by slash true damage is 2%. If it's physical, it's now 2% max HP, but physical. They're stupid. Don't listen to them. So it's doing more damage on paper. I think they claim that the break-even point is going to be like 20 protections, which every level 5 mage has. So don't worry about it. It's going to do less damage. They need to change this still to Excalibur's Wrath has a 90-second cooldown, scaling down to 70. If he has the energy for Excalibur's Wrath, but it's still on cooldown, Excalibur's Wrath does not come up, and his jab, that like chart wind-up stun that his other ult is, that instead goes up, stays up, and he can use that every 20 seconds. That is what he needs. That's it. Do that and he's fine. He'll have a very strong early game, kind of tapers off until late game. This is a good change, but it's not the change he needs, and it doesn't change him being overpowered and fucking bullshit in the meta. End story. And Kukulkan is still like a quality of life changes. I like the new gods. We'll see how they play. I wonder if Horus is OP. I don't think Set's gonna be. Xingqiang coming back. Yay. A couple of good item changes-ish. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Leave a comment down below. Like this video, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. Follow me on Twitch, too. That's usually where I am. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you. Take care. And I'll see you all next time.